Hey, what's up, y'all? We got that new Hellboy movie coming out in a couple months starring David Harbour and Mila Jovovich. It's going to be a reboot. So I thought what I'd do is go over the origins for the character Hellboy himself. If this is your first time tuning in, what I like to do on this channel is basically take comic book characters and movies and things like that and break it down in just a few minutes and make it easy to understand for people who never really got into comic books. You know, maybe you've seen a trailer and you want to check out the movies and you just want to know the basics about a character. So that's what I do here. So the character Hellboy, he's a half demon and half human. His real name is Anan Unrama. Well, the start of his life is his mom and dad were basically in hell together. His dad is Azel, he's a demon, and his mom is Sarah Hughes, she's a witch, but she's a human. So they were both banished to hell, and while they were there, they conceived a son. At this time, the Nazis, they were going to battle with the Allied forces, you know, and they needed a way to basically swing the tide of the war because they felt like they were losing. They went and got Grigory Rasputin. He's like this sorcerer and dealt with all sorts of, you know, paranormal things. So they went and got him and they asked him to do something to make the war, you know, change around in their favor. What he did was he used this glove and magical incantations and he summoned forth a demon. So the Americans knew that the Nazis were up to something. So what they did was they sent Professor Bruttenhold and some soldiers to spy on the Nazis' experiments. Professor Bruttenhold and the soldiers took up refuge inside this church where they had a good vantage point on what Grigory Rasputin was doing. So out of nowhere, it was an explosion inside the church, knocking all the soldiers and the professors back. And there in the midst of that explosion was a little red baby demon. The professor went up to the baby, picked him up, and at that point, he gave him the name Hellboy. Now he took him back to the base in New Mexico, and Hellboy basically grew up at a really fast rate. By 10 years later, he was already a full-grown man. 50 years later, he was still basically in his 20s, showing that his aging process was different than the average humans. Now, aside from the decelerated aging he has, he also possesses superhuman strength, superhuman durability, and also healing. So he could suffer a wound that would kill a normal human, and he would heal from that in a matter of hours or days, depending on the wound. Hellboy went on to work for the BRPD, which is the Bureau for Paranormal Defense and Research. Basically, that means he went on to fight monsters and demons and things like that. Hellboy's most prominent feature is his right arm. It's called the right hand of doom, and it was given to him at birth and was forged onto him by his parents before he was sent up to Earth. It comes from basically one of the greater spirits. His greater spirit known as Anan the Watcher. Anan the Watcher was supposed to be watching and protecting over the earth, and he was sent here by God, but he got jealous of God and he stole some of God's power, and that power was called the secret fire, and he possessed it in his right hand. Now with that fire, he basically created the Agru Jihad. In basic terms, he used his right hand to create all these different armies and monsters and things like that. Now, the other greater spirits, seeing that he was doing bad deeds, they basically ripped him to shreds and was nothing left of Anan the Watcher except his right hand. This right hand basically was kept in secret for centuries and made its way down to hell. And while it was in hell, that's when Hellboy's parents forced it on his hand and then summoned him up to Earth. Now, Hellboy usually rolls with a couple of people. You've probably seen them in the movies. Liz Sherman. In the comic books, they have like a sister-brother relationship. She has the power of pyrokinesis. She can do like fire and stuff like that. And Abe Sapien, he's like a fish man type of deal. And he's really smart and works with like fighting and does all the like computer stuff they have to do and things like that. But yeah, that's a basic breakdown of the character Hellboy. You can catch him in a couple of months in his new movie coming out. I hope this video helped you understand him a little bit. If it did, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. I appreciate that a lot. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm chasing 1,000 subscribers, so help your boy out if you can. Yeah, but other than that, y'all, I catch your ass out there in this universe. Peace.
Who you calling monster, pal? You look in the mirror recently?
He's an asshole.
Sorry! Can I interrupt?
On the contrary, you've arrived just in time.